Okay, so what we're seeing here is just a standard container to buy your local hardware improvement center. And the thing about it is, this is going to be converted into a aeroponics clone seeder. So the important part when you pick out one of these is that you have an edge on the lid so that it goes inside your chamber, because you will be spraying up a mist on the root system that you want to encourage root growth with. But if that does not go on the inside, you can imagine once it starts spraying up, it'll come out on the sides. This mostly seems to be doing that, the one that I've managed to find here, but it may be a little bit leaky. We'll find out soon enough. But it was cheap and easy enough to get, and it seems to be something that can be closed down properly. It is see-through material, so you gotta keep it out of direct sunlight to try and discourage any sort of fungi growth, algae. So what I'll do is I'll take this hole saw and I'll drill my holes, and I've got this to about 4 or 5 centimeters. And inside those holes hold my actual seedlings I'll be using. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill some holes at the top of it, this hole saw at about 4 centimeter diameter. But in order to maintain the integrity of the lid, I probably won't be able to put in as many as I'd hoped. We still want them to be at a certain diameter, because once the root system starts to develop, it will hopefully be quite a few roots. In order to actually pick them out again, you gotta make sure that you have a hole that's big enough so you don't damage the roots, basically. What I'll do is, the holes that I drill, I'll drill equal holes in this foam material and cut a slit down the center. That way that will hold and support the actual seed while it's inside. So putting it up will be as easy as just squeezing it in and hopefully pull it out with the roots all intact. So here goes. Alright, so being a little bit enthusiastic as I am, well, you did say more. I ended up drilling way too many holes, I think. It's still surprisingly structurally intact, but it did crack 1 or 2 places. But still, I mean, it should be tight enough that we shouldn't see water coming out of it once I fill the holes with the foam as intended. Something worth mentioning, I also drilled a couple of holes for the air pump that's going to go through this, because what's going to happen is we're going to have a pump in there that will mist the roots from below, and there will be an air pump to further aerate the actual water in there. So there's going to be very oxygen-rich environment below it. Some people are saying that one of the best ways to sort of further optimize this is by by adding a fan so that you're cooling the root chamber, because quickly, supposedly, it will start heating up. I may or may not have a solution for this. One of the ideas I had was to do basically an angle on one of the 2 ends of it. So if you have an angle, so whatever sprays up won't be spraying directly out, it will hit the walls and fall back down again. So one end, and same at another end, then you can have one fan going in one end, and it will basically ventilate inside without being able to pull in air. Sorry, without water actually being blowing out. The concern is that you would probably end up having a very moist room for this to be in. First things first, I'll do the simple version first, and we'll see if I need to add an air ventilation to it or not. So stay tuned for this mess. And if it fails, what did I say? $10. Now, one of the things that you want to be careful about is all these edges. It's going to be on the plastic that you just drilled out. They can be quite sharp, trust me. And obviously, if I cut myself, there's a good chance that I'll damage the roots once I pull them out of the system in the end. So what
what you want to do is make sure that you take off that ring and just keep it nice. I mean, you don't have to go too crazy with it. As long as you have all the worst parts off, and just make sure that you're aware of this once you pull them out. Maybe not that you grow to minimum size of this hole. So, why would anyone go through all this trouble and do this for a clone tank like this? Now, obviously, if you don't have a lot of money, this is what you want to do. But you also, as far as I'm aware, there's about 2 major brands commercially available, and they start at about 45,000 yen on Amazon. Start. That's the 32 EC clone, I think. The other is C cloner, I think it's called. And this box was, well, $10, 1,000 yen about, maybe 1,100. And then the pump that I'm going to put in was 1,000 yen as well, another $10. And then there's an air pump that I'm going to put in, which is 1,500 yen maybe. But it's a very big one, it's very efficient. So all in all, you're going to save a boatload of money if you do this yourself, and if you have the time, why not? It's pretty fun. This won't have 32, it will have 10, it will have about 29-ish. That's not true at all. 4, 8. We'll have this many. You can of course just buy yourself a bigger tank and just scale up as you need. This is kind of like a test. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, I'll redo it, and I would have wasted $10 and I could redo it and do it properly. Well, at least you won't have to spend $10 making my mistakes. So, that's what's going to happen now, and I need to then also cut out the foam bits that's going to fill these up. Once I've done that, I will then do a quick run test to see if it works as intended. Even if it doesn't, I will still make sure that I show to everyone. So yeah, stay tuned. I'm on here and I'm trying to make these foam fittings for the seat corner. And cutting them up with the scissors just takes too much time, and it's too inaccurate, and it's just hopeless really. Sure, you can do it, but I'm not a very patient guy. So I tried the hole saw, and using the same size, you just gotta make it fall through the actual hole. We want it to be some tight fit in there so it doesn't let any of the water out within the mist system, and we don't want the obviously to fall in. So one size up, the hole saw, it's actually too big in that, well, it's too tight basically. But I came up with another idea. One size up, but then in the middle, seeing as there's a 5mm drill in the middle of it anyway, it makes sense to basically cut a small slice out like a pie, because what's going to happen then is you squeeze this in, and it fits perfectly, and the hole in the middle becomes much smaller and easier to hold whatever sealing that you're putting in there. So, important tip. Very practical too. Let's give it another go. Do this without destroying ourselves. Very porous, so no pushing or anything. Just let it slide into it. There we go. Easy. Lift this one up. As you can see, the hole in the middle is too big. Scissors. Like a small Pac-Man, and so by the time we squeeze this in, the diameter becomes small enough that it just fits perfectly. That's basically it. Done. Keep tuned in if you want more tips and tricks as I discover them, or mistakes as I discover them too. Thanks. Any questions and questions as always down below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.